Hi, my name is Gangadhar. Jai Ambedkar, Jai Panjurli Deva. Okay, now let's talk about why Pushpa film. I mean, a hit film in India, but still, it failed in Russia. Let's see why. Let's analyze the reasons why Pushpa film failed in Russia. Okay, the first reason is being Allu Arjun is a new face to Russia. Nobody know who is Allu Arjun in Russia. We people think that we think that okay, if a film is successful in Karnataka, in India, we think that it will be successful in other languages as well. But sometimes it's not true. If it is successful in India, it doesn't mean that it is going to be a success in all over the world. There are differences between Indian culture and Russian culture. The Indians' way of taste, the taste of Indians and the taste of Russians, there are going to be huge differences between us and them, And I think the lack of dubbing is also a great, the great reason why Pushpa 1 failed in Russia. We Indians, we focus only on domestic market. The Indian market. If we Indians, Indian filmmakers, we dubbed our languages in other languages, in other international languages like Russian languages, like French languages and Spanish or some other languages from very before, from 20-30 years before, and releasing it freely on YouTube. We have many movies in YouTube, many movies which are free to watch in YouTube. So if Allu Arjun dubbed his movies in his famous movies, like his popular movies in Russian languages from very before, now he would be a known face in Russia, because in Russia YouTube is banned just 1 year before because of Russia-Ukraine war, and Russians were using YouTube from very much before. So that's why he should, if his movies were available in Russian languages, like he has very good movies before also, like Bunny, some of the movies, his movies are really great movies. So if those movies were dubbed in Russian languages from 10-20 years before, from very before, Allu Arjun would be a known face to Russians, right? So now he's a very new face to Russians, and yet it is a good effort from a Indian film perspectives, Indian film industry perspective. Having one of the biggest hits in India being released in Russian language, it's a great feat. It's a great first step, I can say. Even though it is a failure, even though Russians didn't like, many Russians liked it. Many Russians liked it. But, because of language, because of the cultural factors, the cultural differences between us and them, they could not be able to connect to Allu Arjun. And because of non-familiarity with his face, for them, a hero is someone who is a well-dressed, suit-wearing type of guy. For them, just like in Hollywood, I will say. But for them, it is hard to digest a hero who is having beard, who is having, who dresses like a coolie or else like a, as janitor. They can't consider. They can't consider him as a hero. They had to evolve. We should have given them spoon feeding from very before, and suddenly we have given them a big thali to eat. So that is the problem. So my suggestion to Indian film producers is that don't only focus on the Indian market. We Indian filmmakers, we are having great potential. Look at Koreans and Chinese don't speak English, yet they dub their movies in English. But we Indians, we know better English than many people. Even our English sometimes is better than English speaking countries also. That's how. And even our normal people also, even though they can't speak English, they can easily understand English. So that's why even though when Koreans, they don't know English, when Chinese, when they don't know English, they are dubbing their movies in China English. We Indians, having known English, we are not dubbing our movies in English. So we are focusing only on the domestic markets. It's like we Indian filmmakers are like a frog in a well. We are not exploring the other markets. That is a problem. white. We Indians having a lot to learn from Rajamouli sir. I mean the Bahubali Rajamouli sir, because Bahubali, Rajamouli sir is dubbing his movies in English. He is dubbing his movies in English, Japanese, French, and other languages. That is a great step. I heard that, I don't know, maybe truth or wrong, I don't know. I heard that dubbing a film into any languages, it takes 2.5 lakh rupees. I mean, some of our producers are spending 500 crores, 600 crores on films, and they can't spend 2.5 lakh extra money to dub a movie in English or else French or else Spanish. Why can't we do that when we are spending crores? Why can't we spend 2.5 lakh rupees? It is a flight expense. That's it. I mean, it is just like a flight expense. So we are not spending so much little money at least to expand our market in other languages, because Indian market in after 20 years it will get saturated. So, and then we have to focus on other international markets. So that's why we have to start building that infrastructure from very before. I mean, we have to make Russians know our culture. We have to make Russians know what our movies will look like, right? So that's why we have to start dubbing our movies in other languages. We Indians think that if a movie is successful in India, it is going to be successful in Russia also, when suddenly dubbing it in Russian. No, it's not like that. There are many factors. When Sachin Tendulkar, attended Wimbledon, someone asked, I mean, when Wimbledon, when Maria Sharapova was a badminton star, she was playing, and Sachin Tendulkar was present in that field, and he met Maria Sharapova, and just he left. And after that, Indian reporter, I mean Indian journalist, asked Maria Sharapova, what did you felt of Sachin Tendulkar, a god of cricket, being there in Wimbledon, and what is your opinion? What is your opinion on Sachin Tendulkar? And Maria Sharapova told, who is Sachin Tendulkar? Sachin Tendulkar, I don't know. And Indians felt very offended and started trolling Maria Sharapova. But she don't know Sachin Tendulkar. She don't know Sachin Tendulkar, like that. It is that we as cricket lovers, we didn't promoted cricket, in Russia and America. That is a problem. If cricket is being promoted in Russia and American land, we would have they would have known Sachin Tendulkar, right? Like that. Allu Arjun is a extremely new face to Russian audience, and it is a good step, I can say. At least trying to dub it in Russian language and going there to Russia and promoting that film. Yet we have to start dubbing our movies. That is a very, very need of the hour, because we are not tapping the potential audience of other languages. That is, look, Brazilians, they look like Indians. They can connect to our stories. Yeah, looks is also a very important consideration. Because see, I am very much black. I'm an extremely black person. I mean, my skin color is extremely black. So that's why if there is any atrocities on Africans, I feel bad. Africans, or else if racism exists in America, I feel bad, because I am also black skinned guy, right? So that's why looks also matter. Brazilians looks like Indians, so Brazilians can connect to Indian stories, Indian romance. And Spanish is also like Indians. I mean, Spanish people are not black. I mean, they're not white like Europeans. I mean, the western part of Europeans, like, they're not like that. I mean, Spanish are little bit tanned like Indians, so they can also connect to our stories. And if we just dub our movies in Spanish, we can expand our market. In in Spain they speak Spanish. In Mexico they speak Spanish. In Argentina they speak Spanish. In in Brazil they speak Portuguese. But Portuguese and Spanish, they both are Urdu and Hindi. Urdu speaking guy can understand Hindi, right? So that's why. So at least if we dub in Spanish language, we can connect to at least 10 countries, because Argentina, Brazil, Peru, Mexico, Bolivia, those countries speak very good Spanish. I mean, they are Spanish speaking countries. So if we just dub it in Spanish using 2.5 lakh rupees, so we can connect to at least 6 countries markets, 6 national markets, and African. We neglect Africa, because we consider them as they don't have money, so that's why we can't. We don't promote our movies in Africa. Actually, Africa is also a big market. If Africa, because Africans can connect to us, because we Indians and Africans, we are having same history, shared history. We are also being a slaves of colonials. British, Portuguese, they're all ruled us. So Africans also got ruled by many countries, many European countries. They are being enslaved by them. That's why RRR, many Africans liked RRR, because RRR movie is depicting British colonialism, right? So that's why many Africans liked it, even though they didn't understand Hindi, English, or else Indian languages. They watched that movie in English, because RRR is being dubbed in English. So many Africans liked that movie. So we can tap the potential of African market. We can even tap the markets of as I told, Spanish, Spain, Portugal, Bolivia, Argentina, Mexico, and many other markets. They are all Spanish-speaking markets. Latino America, they are called Latino Americans. Latino Americans, because they are in American continent, the South American continent. Brazil is in South American continent, and Spain, Portugal is in eastern part of European continent. Okay, so they are all speaking Spanish. So that's why. So Spain is also a good market. Obviously, Russia is a good market, and if we dub it in Russian, so Germans also can understand Russian. Many Germans can understand Russian. So, and many Romanians can understand Russian. Ukrainians can understand Russian. So that's why Ukraine is it is in war right now. It is torn apart, but still, if war stops, so we can focus on Ukraine also. So that's why I'm saying dub it in different languages. Dubbing is the only solution. Dubbing is the only tool through which we can penetrate other markets. So that's why I suggest, I order. No, I'm not somebody to order. Sorry, I request all the film producers to take a movie. Even film actors also. Film actors. If Allu Arjun wants his movies to be seen in other continents as well, so he has to spend his own money to dub any of his any of his hit films in some other languages. It takes 2.5 to 3 lakh rupees. That's it. It is a flight expense, sometimes a restaurant expense. That's it. For a star, sometimes 2.5 lakh rupees is a restaurant going expense. That's it. So, and if that movie is being released in YouTube for free, so in Russian or Spanish or other languages, so his fan following will start growing slowly in Russian languages. Russia, Spanish, those countries also. Because look, South Indians, why South Indian films started blowing up like anything. Why South Indian languages are being, South Indian stars are getting recognized in Hindi these days, because of dubbing. From very much before, from 10 20 years before, South Indian films were being dubbed and released in TVs. In TV, in not peak hours. In not so peak hours, like evening, in afternoons, like that. So suddenly, it's a slow process. North Indians, they started watching some of the South Indian films, and they started liking. If 1,000 people watched a South Indian film, one film, at least 2 people will start liking it. Many people will start liking it. At least 2 people will become fans of that star. like that. It is a very very slow process. It takes 10-20 years. So that's why, if you start dubbing it in Russian from now onwards, KGF also should be dubbed in English and Russian. So like that, KGF, if you start dubbing it in other languages, it slowly starts penetrating the other markets, other country markets. Why Rajnikant is famous in Japan, because from very before, Tamil film industry people, they started dubbing his films in Japanese language, and started releasing it in Japan. So initially the response was more or less like average. And next onwards, I mean, slowly they started liking Rajnikant, so that's why I request all the film producers to dub their movies to other country languages, I mean Spanish, German, and Russian, and release them, not only to focus on the domestic market. We have to focus on the other language markets as well, because sometimes the flop, sometimes a film, even though it is going to be a flop in India, some other part of some other country people, they have taste for that film. If see, if some movie got flopped here in India, many other cultures, many other countries, they can like it. So the chances are, if that movie didn't make money in India, they can make money through Brazil, they can make money through Bolivia, they can make money through Argentina. So that's why I request all the film producers to dub their movies in other languages. Okay, thank you. Jai Ambedkar, Jai Panjurli Deva, Jai Bhim.